What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 5 of my Liverpool FC playthrough here in Football Manager 2018, and we are back once more. Yes, hopefully you guys are good. Today we are taking on Manchester City, and this is really going to be the beginning of the true test in terms of the Premier League title, and if we are really a contender for it. You can see right now we are top of the league, but of course in our opening 8 games we've had a fairly kind set of results. Today we take on a Manchester City side who started off slowly, but in recent games have been vastly improved. And yeah, it's not going to be easy. Of course, last time out we played Atletico. Since then, just a little bit of good news outside of what's been going on the pitch, and a few board requests that were granted. The first was our youth budget kind of for junior coaching was increased, so that was fantastic. But on top of that, the big news really, the youth facilities and training facilities are going to be upgraded, and hopefully they're going to be done by mid-October of next season. So whilst that is still a little while off, it's great to see the board willing to invest, you know, to help us off the pitch in terms of player development. And well, on top of that, obviously the finances, they've not taken a massive hit with this because the finances are in fantastic shape right now. You can see we have £11 million in terms of transfer budget remaining. We are technically slightly over our wage budget in terms of committed spend, but that's nothing to be worried about too much. And yeah, as you can see here, the overall balance of £65 million is extremely healthy. And who knows, maybe we will be dabbling into the transfer market come January because there is a little bit of money still to spend. Since the last episode, in terms of matches, we have played 3. The first of which was against Stoke. It was a 2-0 win, a good little result. De Vrij and Ben Woodburn with the goals. A game that we dominated. Stoke did not have a shot on target. And well, good news for Ben Woodburn. Getting his first ever senior goal for Liverpool was great. And following on from this, he actually made an appearance for Wales internationally. So fair play to him. He has been in fine form. His determination has risen up to 16. Of course, he was being tutored by Coutinho, but that has actually recently ended abruptly. There was a conflict off the pitch between the two of them. I've not talked to either of them about it, but it did mean that the tutoring has stopped. But I don't know, the effects of it are there to be felt, so hopefully that is going to benefit Woodburn going forward. Anyway, going into the next game that we had, it was against West Brom. It was a 1-0 defeat, and as you can see, it was just an absolutely insane goal which won West Brom the game. Solomon Rondon, I didn't know he had this in his locker, but he kind of just smashed it in from range into the top corner. I don't think Mignolet can take too much of the blame. And well, to further compound our misery, Trent Alexander-Arnold was sent off in extra time for a second bookable offence. Totally unnecessary. It does mean we're without him for this game today. So that was a little bit of a sour note to end that game on. Anyway, our most recent game was in the Champions League against Legia. Good performance there, very convincing performance. A 3-0 win. Dolberg getting 2 goals to his name, played very well indeed. And well, a little bit of news off the pitch. Dolberg and Gomez finished 2nd and 3rd in Young Player of the Month for September in the Premier League. Now, we are getting towards the end of October. There has been an international break, so that was a little while ago. But still good to see both those players doing well. I mean, we look at Dolberg here, he is going to be on the bench for today's game, along with Ben Woodburn, actually, due to a Sturridge injury. But he is improving, and if he can continue to improve, he's going to be a great player for us. His value has jumped up, as you can see here, to £29.5 million. Considering we paid £18 million with it, potentially rising to 40, it's immediately looking like a good little bit of business. He has got 4 goals for us so far this season as well, so he has got his shooting boots on. Anyway, as I mentioned, Joe Gomez also getting in that Player of the Month kind of contenders list for Young Player of the Month. He came 3rd, and the 20-year-old's been very good for us. Of course, with Alexander-Arnold out injured today, out suspended today, Joe Gomez is going to be our starting right back, so exciting times for him. In terms of recent form here, you can see, looking at our team, Jordan Henderson's been the pick of the bunch, and in fact, he was also featuring in the monthly awards. He was 2nd in Player of the Month in the Premier League, playing that deep line playmaker role for us, a very good player. Perhaps the role itself doesn't make the most of his kind of well-rounded physicals and ability to play a box-to-box role, but in terms of having an extremely versatile deep-line playmaker, that player who really links up all the play together and is so versatile and well-rounded, it's such a valuable asset to have, and he has been performing superbly there. Really can't fault the guy's performances. Other top performers, you can see De Vrij's been doing well, and in fact our back four has been doing well. Moreno, perhaps the surprise contender for player of the season right now. A 7.55 average rating still for him after 10 games. And yeah, as you can see, De Vrij, Joe Gomez and Matip all playing well too. You may also notice Lovren is back to full fitness. He has, of course, been out with a broken foot since pre-season. I don't think he's going to be our starting centre-back this year. I kind of prefer Joel Matip and De Vrij ahead of him. He is going to be a good backup for us, but how long he's going to be happy to be a backup for remains to be seen. And while speaking of people not happy of being backups, this links quite nicely into the fact that James Milner has asked to leave the club, and I've granted him his request. The issue I'm going to have is I think no one's going to want to pay his wages. £140,000 a week. I'm aware Liverpool signed him on a free transfer. That is fine and dandy, but you are the second highest earning player at the club. And, well, as you can see, I've given him one appearance off the bench, and it's not for any other reason other than the fact I'm really trying to develop a lot of our younger players, and so I want to give them a chance to play. But additionally, the dilemma I have with James Milner is I don't feel like he's a standout player in any one role. He's kind of the jack of all trades, master of none. And so even when I rotate my side, as we did against Stoke, he just doesn't quite find a spot in the team, unfortunately. And so if I can move him on come January, that would be ideal. If not, I don't know what we're going to do. We'll panic, I guess. But anyway, we're going to go into today's game against Manchester City, just have a quick look at their form. As I said, they had a really rough start to the season. They drew against Crystal Palace away. They lost to Brighton. They drew against Arsenal. But since then, 3 wins on the bounce against Tottenham, Burnley and Shakhtar. Means they are going to be pretty formidable. You can see they actually got knocked out 3-0 by West Brom in the Carabao Cup. Maybe we can upset the apple cart and get a good result today against them. They have got Manchester United coming up next. And it's worth noting that whilst we did also play in Europe, we played on the Tuesday, whereas they've played on the Wednesday. And today's game is the Saturday lunchtime kickoff. So not ideal for Manchester City. Their players could be a little bit on the tired side. Whereas if we look at our team here, we're going into this game very, very fresh indeed. In terms of how we are going into this game, it's pretty much the standard lineup at this point. Mignolet in goal, Moreno, De Vrij, Matip and Joe Gomez at right back. Of course, Joe Gomez coming in for Alexander-Arnold. The midfield trio that we're going with is Jordan Henderson, who I've already talked about. Seri, who has not necessarily been a standout player so far under us, but he's not been a weak link, I don't think, necessarily. And also Coutinho continuing to play that centre mid on attack role. As you can see here, whilst he's not well suited to that role, his average ratings are 7.4 in Europe and 7.38 in the Premier League, are really kind of good indicators of just how well suited he actually is to this role. Of course, it's not his preferred position necessarily to play centre mid, but if you look at his important attributes here, the passing, the first touch, the decisions, the off the ball, he has everything he needs to play this role. And I do encourage you guys in your own saves to, whilst look at the suitability rating, also use your own judgment in there because it's definitely worth considering. Anyway, the midfield is capped off by Mane and Salah, if you want to call them midfielders. Really, they are kind of wide forwards. They have roam from position, sit narrower, and mark specific position. If you were wondering about these, because I've never really talked about them too much, I'm trying to remember what specific position it is. I set this up a while ago. It's the fullbacks, so I want these guys to really press up high. I've never gone over the tactic in that much detail. I probably should do that at some point. I've talked a little bit about the instructions, the fact that it's designed to be a very compact system where we do close down and hunt quite a lot. We play our high tempo and really try to hit teams on the break where we can. But in terms of the wide players here, as I said, roam from position, sit narrower, mark specific positions. I want these guys to sit kind of in the channels, and that's very much what they do. Elsewhere, the only other additional instruction for the box-to-box midfielder is get further forward. On Henderson, there's nothing. The defenders, you may notice, I actually used to have these on ball-playing defenders. I've actually since decided to switch them just to central defenders. I don't know if it's an issue with the Football Manager kind of beta, or maybe it's the way that we play ourselves. But these ball-playing defenders, De Vrij and Matip's pass completion was about 60%, which is really, really bad. And rather than them kind of incompleting those passes, trying to, get the ball, maybe to a player, I've put them to central defender in the hope that they are going to just, boot it up into space. They're less, about trying to find a man and more about getting it to safety. Because I'd rather we kick it to safety than, have a ball risk being intercepted. Trying to get, do an intricate pass to, say, Jordan Henderson. On the fullbacks, we've got fewer risky passes and close down much less. Due to the way that we are playing with this high pressing system, I need these guys to stay as a back four, and because they are complete wing backs, with the closing down, I did notice that they were starting to get pulled out of position where, maybe if we gave up the ball, the complete wing back, rather than focusing and getting back into position, he'd go, right, I need to, go tackle the ball from the guy in the centre, and so it left us a little bit lacking. So we've closed down much less, it just helps them get back into position a little bit more. And they're the instructions that I've got. Nothing too crazy, hopefully all makes sense in terms of fewer risky passes. I think it's logical, but basically, I want us to keep hold of the ball where we can. And in the case of Moreno, it's certainly working. His average ratings speak volumes for how this complete wing-back role has been suiting him. But anyway, let's submit our team and get into today's game. We are taking on Manchester City. It is at home. Given our recent form, I expect us to do well here. It's definitely not going to be an easy game. Perhaps this is going to be one of those games where we have the crushing reality of realising that we aren't the biggest team in this league kind of thrust upon us. But you can see, looking at their team here, Ederson, Mangala, Vincent Kompany is fit. Mendy and Danilo. I wish we could have had a look at those teams for just a second longer. But if we just look at the set opposition instructions, you can see here they've got Gundogan, De Bruyne, Silva as a kind of midfield trio. Then they've got Gabriel Jesus playing out on the right, Perisic, who they've signed, on the left, and Sergio Aguero playing up top. Not going to be easy at all. Hopefully we can put in a good performance here. In terms of these instructions, apparently we don't need to have any... If you say so, we can always implement some as we go. Some people may notice I usually put opposition instructions on auto. I definitely could do them myself. It would probably benefit me to do them myself, but I think the beauty of Football Manager is you can kind of play the game however you want. And I put a degree of faith, maybe misplaced, in my assistant manager to just set things up as they'd want. Really with those instructions, I feel like a lot of the player-specific instructions you can do with your own players' instructions. Maybe, showing onto weaker foot should be just a default on everything, certainly on wider players. But no, as I said, I like to just tell my assistant, you do what you think is right. But yeah, let's see how we get on here. This looks like it could be a chance very early on. You can see nice little bit of play here. Gomez with the unnecessarily risky pass, perhaps. Silva now up to Perisic. Let's not concede in the first 2 minutes. That would be ideal. That is a poor tackle by Joe Gomez, I think. Perisic inside. Oh my gosh, Mignolet, what a save that is. And, well, we could have been a goal down after just over a minute. Mignolet to the rescue. We now have this corner to deal with. Ball whipped in. Firmino gets it away. Can we possibly close this down now, De Bruyne? It's not a way to safety. And with this Man City side, Moreno's just putting it. Moreno's thing is tackling. I don't know if anyone's noticed like an emerging trend here. He just seems to be a god at tackling. Looking at the condition here, Aguero's really tired. And, in fact, I mentioned the fact they played in Europe midweek. City could struggle as this game goes on. We play a very high-tempo system, and that is going to cause them some trouble, I imagine, as the game goes on. We are going to take the game to them here. And, with Aguero tiring, he's almost certainly not going to last the entire game. Raheem Sterling's carrying an injury. Their attacking options just look a little bit limited, looking at how things are lining up here. We'll have to see how this game develops, as we do have a set piece. Coutinho whips it in, back post, De Vrij off the crossbar, and Danilo gets it away. Bonus for Coutinho back into the box. Third time of asking, maybe. Matip, don't shoot. Okay, he didn't shoot, but the replay ended. I thought he was going to go for a screamer. Mendy picking up the first booking of the game. 30 minutes gone. We're yet to have a shot on target. We did just rattle the woodwork. Probably should have scored. We are bossing possession right now. 58% of it in our favour. And we do have another set piece here. Seri whips in. We have some good players in the air. Henderson, Coutinho, Mane. No, never mind. De Vrij, we could get caught out here. Perisic, bring the ball forward. Aguero, he looks very tired already. Tackles flying in. Silva ends up with the ball. We are completely out of position here. We have committed to this play, and Perisic slots it away. We've been hit on a deadly counter-attack. A number of tackles went flying in. None of them saw us regain the ball, and unfortunately for us, City take a lead that they perhaps deserve just off the face of it so far. We are yet to hit the target. I feel like the nature of the defending there is what is really upsetting. The ball slotted away well. Don't think Mignolet can take too much of the brunt of the blame there. But yeah, 35 minutes gone, a goal down, but this City side is tiring, and that does certainly give me some hope going into the rest of this game that we can make something happen. But with us yet to have a shot on target, I've maybe got to reconsider our game plan going forward. Because that is not really what we want to be seeing. So in terms of what I want to do, I could switch to the 4-2-3-1 system. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I feel like if I was going to use this system, I'd probably not use the Mazzala. Although the Mazzala kind of works in this. I was going to say I wouldn't use the Mazzala because the inside forward on the left, but actually we play with a winger on the left, so that point's completely invalid. This is probably what I'd play. Maybe Seri as the Mazzala, Coutinho as advanced playmaker. Do I want to change the system this soon? I think I kind of do. I want to mix things up in the second half. As I said, I kind of want to take the game to them here. This system is designed to have a slightly lower tempo to it all. I think it'd be good to really take the game to City if we can here. So we'll make a few minor changes. Nothing too crazy, I don't think, to start things off. But yeah, we're going to go with a system change. We're going to go a little bit more attacking, and I'm going to tell the players I expect to see a much better showing. Good to see them all motivated. Mohamed Salah, offside 4 times. What's your line? I can only assume that City are playing the offside trap and catching us out frequently. But yeah, we're going to go more attacking here. Joe Gomez apparently with a clean tackle. Not sure if it looked clean in 3D, but I'm not going to argue with the game. And yeah, we have, well, the second half here to make something happen. We didn't really build enough in their final third, it felt like. You know, yet to get a shot on target is inexcusable. We have now got one finally. Coutinho might have pulled his hamstring. That's not really what we want to see as Aguero smashes it in at the near post. It's not quite going to the plan and the script, is it? So I'm going to make some changes here. I'm going to switch Mane to inside forward. Firmino is going to play right inside forward. Sorry, Mane's going to go to winger. In fact, no, we'll do this. We'll play Mane inside forward. Firmino's going to play on the wing. Oh, this is awkward, isn't it? This is really awkward because I need to take off Coutinho. Do I want to bring in Dolberg or Woodburn? We'll go with Dolberg because he did play well in Europe for us, but we need just an improved performance everywhere. You can see the average rents on Mane and Salah have been really poor today. It might be time to unleash our secret weapon in Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and also bring in Woodburn. I think we're going to do that. We're going to change our kind of attacking trio with an hour gone. A bit of a risk to use all our subs. I feel like it's the most dangerous thing you can do in Football Manager, make all your changes, particularly in this beta at the moment where it does feel like injuries are a little too high. Let's not concede it from another set piece. What a diving header that is by Gomez. It doesn't amount to anything. The ball finds its way in the back of the net. And you'd have to say City have been clinical. They have created better chances. They found the back of the net there. Joe Gomez, I mean, let's just discuss this header because it's an interesting one. He full on John Terry's it, going head first there. But alas, it finds the back of the net. And despite us making that trio kind of change in the final third, it's come at a point now where the game's probably already dead, unfortunately for us. Now Henderson's injured. It's just been one of those games, hasn't it, guys? Oh dear, I love this game. I love sometimes. So we are now playing with 10 men. Let's not get another injury now. I feel like it's an unwritten law in FM that if you make all 3 changes, you are then going to get an injury. The cynical part of me is kind of hoping that we can injure Aguero because it might help us in any kind of race against City down the line. They have now made all their changes. I mean, can we get a consolation goal whilst we are down a man? That would be nice. That would motivate me a little bit. But well, if we concede a 4th, it's going to get embarrassing. Now, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain whips it in. Woodburn's there. What a finish that is by the youngster. The 2 subs link up. It's a little bit too little too late. He's grabbed the ball. He's running for the halfway line with it. I mean, it was a nice goal all in all. Good bit of build-up play. Perisic gives away the ball needlessly. But Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, he pounces on the opportunity. He whips it in. Woodburn, playing that Mazzala role, finds himself in a pocket of space. Ederson perhaps should do better. And, well, I feel like we've actually played better once we've gone down a man to how we played before as we get a second injury. Now we are in trouble. Oh, dear. What have I done to deserve this? Right, let's just get to, the result doesn't matter at this point. Let's just get to the end of the game. We're down to 9 men. They've got a set piece. If we concede now, I mean, I want to be like, it's not on me. It is kind of on me because I made those subs known. Aguero's injured though. Maybe the game plan's worked. It doesn't look like it's a major injury, but alas, it's not really been our day. And I'll be honest, I'm now kind of just hoping that none of those injuries are serious. I think the Coutinho one shouldn't be. I didn't catch what the De Vrij injury was. it does have me a little bit concerned. We've got 6 minutes of added time because of all the injuries. I've noticed in Football Manager this year, you do actually get in games where there are lots of injuries, more added time, which was something that I know sounds odd, but it never really was likely to get 6 minutes of added time last year in Football Manager. Unfortunately, we do lose this game 4-1, and it's our first defeat, I think, in a live com here. I mean, the silver lining was that Ben Woodburn, he got a goal, which is great for the 18-year-old. Unfortunately for us, however, those two injuries are going to overshadow it. And in fact, it was Henderson who got injured as well as De Vrij. I forgot about that. Of course, Coutinho picked up a little injury. I'm hoping that these two injuries aren't major. De Vrij, okay, 3 weeks. I can live with that. Henderson's the big one. If Henderson's injured for a while, we're in trouble. Okay, 2 3-week injuries. What does that mean in terms of fixtures that they're going to be missing? They're going to be out until about the 15th of November, if we're being generous. Which actually means they're only going to miss 3 games. It's going to be Palace, Legia and Leicester. In terms of when we'll be back, guys, I think we're going to do the game against Chelsea. Whilst we have got the game against Juventus at home, if we do beat Legia, there's a very high chance that we will qualify out of our Champions League group. As you can see here, looking at it, Juventus did beat Atletico when those two sides met. They are going to play each other once more. I believe if we beat Legia and Juventus beat Atletico, that would put us in a position where we are out of the group. So, yeah, it might not even matter that next Juventus game if we can just do the business against Legia. So yeah, we'll be back next time for the game against Chelsea. Hopefully I do see you guys for that one. If you did enjoy today's video, as always, please do leave a like on the video. It is greatly appreciated. I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you guys don't get as many injuries as I did today in your FM saves. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.